on. Jeremiah 29:11. Y'all lift it up. In my hand, I hold the word of God. And through it, I have power, healing, and deliverance. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Y'all sit down. Y'all amen. Sit down. Jeremiah 29:11. It don't have to come up. I'll tell you what it says. It says this, for I know the plans I have for you, declare the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. That's what it says. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declare the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. If you're in the King James, yours might say an expected end. But that all means the same thing. Jesus says, I know the plans I have for you. Just for a moment, I want to talk about visions, but I want to put a subtopic entitled, My Best Days Are Still Ahead. I want to teach on that. I want to teach on visions, but I want to say that my best days are still ahead. Brothers and sisters, I declare unto you, Jeremiah writes this text, and he writes this text in a letter form to those people that have been captivated and have been taken in by their enemies. And they're in a place of uncomfort. They're not comfortable. They're in a disarray. They had to move. They've been uprooted from where they were born from. They're in another place where things just don't make sense to them. All right. Have you ever been there where things just don't make any sense? I'm talking about where your life is just so chaotic and crazy. I'm talking about them days where you fix the washing machine and then the dryer breaks down. Those type of days where, if it ain't one thing, it's another. These people are living rough and Jeremiah writes them a word from the Lord. Actually, if you go home and read Jeremiah 29:11, Jeremiah is actually battling against false prophets. Because there are prophets that are giving these people words that are not true. That's why Pastor tells you can't believe everything you hear. Amen. And you can't even believe everything you see. Amen. But he's in a battle with all these prophets, and Jeremiah begins to tell them, though. He tells them, he said, listen, this is what you got to do. Even when you can't get out of something, this is what you got to do. Jeremiah said, keep growing your family. All right. He said, look for the best of it, even in the worst of it. Amen. Sometimes you got to look for the best of situations, even at the worst times of a situation. Yes, sir. And y'all ever been there? Yes, right. Well, things are bad, but you still got to look at it being the best. Yes. In other words, Jeremiah said, you got to just make it work, because evidently whatever this is, you can't come out of it. So let's try to fix whatever we're doing in it to make it better for us. Some of us, if we had the attitude to change ourselves rather than changing the situation, life would be sweeter. But so many of you focus on trying to change your situation, but you ain't changing yourself. Amen. And that's why every time something happens, it beats you upside the head. Amen. Because it's not the situation that needs to change, it's you. Amen. That needs to change. But anyway, Jeremiah tells them, he said, listen, he said, God says in Jeremiah 29:11, he says, God said in 70 years he's coming back. And he's going to redeem you. All right. And he lets them know that. He gives them the vision that God has shown him. And he says that God said that I have plans for you. No matter how it's looking right now. He says, I have plans for you. That you're going to be prosperous. Amen. Even when it ain't looking like it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. He said, I got plans for you that the sun is going to shine. Even though it's cloudy on you right now. All right. God gives a vision to Jeremiah. Somewhat like the vision that Dr. Martin Luther King had in this Black History moment. He says, I have a dream. All right. They're black and white. All ethnicities will come together and be as one. Yeah. Okay. He said, this is the vision that God has given me to give to you. Stevie Wonder said it like this, and I like Stevie Wonder's quote. Stevie Wonder wrote in a quote, he said, just because a man is blind don't mean that a man can't have vision.
Amen.
That's what Stevie Wonder said. Amen. Which relates to me and lets me know that vision does not require your sight, but it requires your faith. Amen. And that's why the text says we walk by faith and not by sight. Amen. Brothers and sisters, I ask the question to you out here, how many of you have visions? There's a difference between a vision and a goal. Amen. A goal is something that you do, that you can fix. That's your thing. That's your goal. But a vision is something that God gives you. So anytime God gives you a vision, first of all, you got to understand that you don't control how it's done. Amen. So if you have a vision, don't tell God what to do. Amen. You just do what he tells you to.
Amen. All right.
Those of you that are taking copious, no start writing, if you can't spell, holler at me. I'll give you that.
Amen.
Visions, let's get with it.
All right.
I want y'all to understand this, because in order to make this vision happen, in order to do what God has for you to do, you've got to have what is called self-discipline.
Amen.
What is self-discipline? Self-discipline is self-imposed standards to achieve a higher goal. Amen. Brothers and sisters, when you have self-discipline, mama don't have to tell you to do it. Right. Amen. Because it's self-standards. And you have self-standards because you're trying to reach a higher goal.
Amen.
Some of us, the only thing that is destroying us is self-discipline.
Amen.
Y'all know how it is. What you do, you walk for 3 days. Then all of a sudden the next day, I catch it this evening. Next day come, oh, I ain't missed nothing but 2 days. It ain't nothing. Now y'all can talk to me now. Everybody know what I'm talking about? Amen. And before you know it, it's 2 weeks later. And you watching everybody else walk saying, I ought to be out there. Do it for me.
Amen.
Talk to me now. Amen. Self-discipline. I told y'all I went to my doctor. I told y'all what he said. I said, Doc, my knee is hurting. He said, lose some weight, it'll go away.
Okay.
Dr. Pax is straight out.
Amen.
I like him, but I don't like him. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to move on and give y'all 3 points about vision. I'm going to tell y'all, because every time I go back there, he's a Korean man. You're the Mr. Right. I'm standing on the scale. I started looking up to the corner like, man, don't start with me today. But self-discipline, for real. Self-discipline is self-standards. It's important that you have that. Now, I want to give you some points about visions, because it's important when God gives you a vision. I want you to understand. Here it is, number 1. The good thing about a vision is a vision controls your direction.
All right.
See, if you stick to your vision, it controls what you do.
Amen.
God is giving you something bigger than a goal. He's giving you a vision.
All right.
And when God gives you a vision, it controls your direction. See, and a lot of times, Satan don't want to kill you. He wants to kill your vision.
Amen.
Satan will let you live, but put you on a bad street.
Amen.
See, understand this. When you have a vision, the vision gives you direction.
Come on now.
Young people, as you continue to grow and God begins to give you vision, if you stick with it, it'll give you direction.
All right.
Amen.
See, right now your parents should give you direction.
Amen.
But then that might explain why so many young kids are wild right today.
All right.
Oh, don't get quiet on me now. I deal with them every day. I see what they act like.
All right.
I see what they act like. A 9th grader in high school is pregnant and her mother's trying to get together a baby shower. Why in the world am I going to celebrate somebody that cannot even take care of themselves,
All right.
bringing another person into the world.
Amen.
Amen.
Why would I do that? Why would I make you think that it's okay?
Amen.
Because this is going to cost you the rest of your life.
Amen.
I can't celebrate that stuff.
All right.
There's nothing in the world that makes me to tell her, you okay, baby. No, you're not.
All right.
No, you're not okay. And parents, you've got to give kids direction. You got to let them know you're wrong.
Amen. Come on, right.
That ain't how it works. Yeah, childbirth is good when you are able to afford a child, when you are able to do what that child needs to be done. But please have common sense. If you can't take care of yourself, then you need to do something to stop that.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Don't get quiet.
Come on, right.
Vision gives you direction.
Yeah.
And when you have no direction, that's when you get old saying what I should have been and what I could have been.
All right.
Amen.
When you have no direction, you get old talking about, man, I could have been a movie star. Well, I'm sorry.
Amen.
But you had no direction. Man, I could have been a football player. Man, I'm sorry. But you had no self-discipline and you had no direction.
Amen.
Amen.
I watched my cat when we had a cat. She had kittens. And I'm going to get to the next point. My cat, when she had kittens, I watched her. I love watching animals. You know, when the kittens would go, you know what she would do? She would nudge them back in place.
Amen.
I said, Barry, look, every time a little kitten would try to go off somewhere, she would take that kitten, put it in her mouth, and bring that kitten back where that kitten needed to be.
Amen.
Parents, you can learn a lot from animals.
Amen.
You need to start picking up your little kittens, and I'm not just calling, I'm being for real. Your little children, just like a mother kitten do, and say, listen, I need you to get back over here.
Amen.
And even though the kitten don't understand it, the mother is doing it to keep her safe.
Amen.
Amen.
And vision, that's what it does. It gives you direction. Number two, I know y'all quiet, y'all don't like this.
Come on, right. It's all right.
Vision helps you define who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Can I help you with something? I've learned something. I've learned, Deacon Pam, the reason why some people are poor is because nobody can identify them.
All right.
They're not poor because they don't have a gift. They're poor because they hadn't identified themselves.
Amen.
And nobody knows what to come to you for.
Amen.
Listen, it was once said by a great man. He says, if you want success, don't look for it.
Amen.
He said, success will come once you make yourself valuable.
Amen.
Amen.
Oh, okay.
Amen.
Y'all will get it in a minute.
Come on now.
See, when nobody can identify what you do,
All right.
then how can I come to you?
Amen.
Amen.
Because now you like a shade tree.
Yeah.
Amen.
1 minute you're fixing hair, next minute you're fixing cars. Next minute you're a lawyer in somebody's courtroom. Y'all ain't talking to me.
Come on, right. It's all right.
Tish, I was sitting there listening. I was talking to Tish. I like Todd. I use Tish all the time. Tish, she's going to be very successful. I was listening to Tish all the time. And Tish said, Pastor, this is what I'm going to do. I said, Tish, you know what? Make sure you get every piece of paperwork you're supposed to have. Ain't that what I told you?
Amen.
Told you go to school, get your license, make everything legitimate, didn't I? Because I didn't want you to be no shade tree beautician.
All right.
And see what that does, that helps people to identify you.
All right.
Amen.
And with the vision, it helps people to identify you for who you are and what it is you should be doing. And that's why some people are poor right now, because nobody knows who you are.
Amen.
What do you do?
Amen.
Who are you? Never heard of you. And now you're sitting up here saying to yourself, man, you know what? I hope you young people especially are listening. You older people, we all need to listen too, because vision don't have an age limit. It's just, you do what you do. But the problem is, see, that's the problem with most people that's above 30. You think life is done. Instead of getting a grip and saying, you know what, I still have power to change my life.
Amen.
Because why? Your best days are still ahead of you.
Amen.
It was a scary thing that when they told me that one of my friends had died, it was a scary thing because when I found out, God only promised us, 70 years?
All right.
So now, once you get over 40, you on the down slope.
Amen.
It used to be 50 years old, but now, when you get over 40 years old, you on the down slope of life.
Amen.
It ain't 50 no more, it's 40.
All right.
All y'all in y'all 37 and 38. Party now. Then when you hit the big 4-0, you on that other end. You on deck. You next. For what? The upper room. Listen. I'm just tripping out.
Amen, right?
But all of us that are over 40, I'm telling y'all,
Amen.
we ain't got long.
Amen.
Don't get quiet. It's just the facts.
Amen.
So however long we got, let's enjoy it. All right?
Yeah.
All right. It helps you to define yourself. Another thing that a vision does. Vision. When God gives you a vision, another thing that it does. The vision helps you to grow, but not to change.
All right.
Amen.
See, I've learned that a lot of people, when they're going for their vision, they change and they don't grow.
All right. That's true.
You'll get into that.
Amen.
All right.
But a true vision helps you to grow, but not change.
That's right.
Amen.
Jesus made the disciples grow, but he didn't change them. He said, I'm going to make you fishermen of men, but I'm not going to change what you do.
All right.
You're still fishing, but I'm going to grow you because now you're fishing for men.
Amen.
God has a way when he gives you a vision that it'll grow you and not change you.
Yeah.
One of the biggest mistakes that I made, and the reason that I'm not on the road singing right now, is because of my attitude.
All right.
I can already tell you what it was. Because I allowed what I was doing to change who I was.
Amen.
And I didn't grow. I thought I was growing, but really it was just my attitude changing.
Amen.
So if you didn't wear a $500 shirt, you and I, we didn't have nothing to talk about.
All right.
If you didn't fly in planes like I did and ride in stretches like I did, we didn't have nothing to talk about.
Amen.
I'm just being honest with you. If you had to go out and break a sweat to work every day and you didn't, hey, that just wasn't in, you didn't have anything to talk about, but I do want to tell you this. When you lose who you are,
Yeah.
God will always bring you back to your senses.
Amen.
Oh, y'all ain't got to get quiet. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know how many conversations I've had with my wife and telling her about all the money that I had blown through years.
Yeah.
And telling her if I only would have had somebody that would have helped me manage the money that I was making. You know, I think it's a crying shame that I could make more money in one day without selling dope, doing it the legal way, than more people would make in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And because of me changing and not growing, God said, well, you know what? I can't trust you with it. You ain't ready yet.
Amen.
Amen.
Some of you that are seeking your visions, don't ever forget where you come from.
Amen.
And don't forget the people that helped bring you to where you are.
Amen.
I wish somebody could talk to me.
All right.
Because it's valuable to you.
Teach that, Pastor. Teach that.
Oh, yeah.
It's valuable to you. That's why when I see people flying in private jets and limos, now I smile. It don't bother me. It don't excite me. It don't make me feel any kind of way. I know what that life is like.
Amen.
But my God, when you get with the vision, it'll make you grow.
Amen.
It'll make you grow to the point. This is how you know you're growing. Is when you go back and help somebody
Say that,
where
Pastor.
you come from and bring them out. See, y'all missing it.
Amen.
Y'all missing it because that's what happens. A lot of times we make it and get successful and then we act like those that are no good. We forget we was just with them last month.
Amen.
Don't get quiet on me. Now you done passed the bar and you done became a lawyer. Now you want help the poor people, but you yourself once was poor and they helped you get where you are. But now you done forgot all about that. I know y'all ain't talking to me. I know y'all ain't talking to me. But when you grow, you go back and help another individual to grow so everybody can become successful.
Amen.
That's the power of a vision. It'll help you grow without changing you. Y'all ever met anybody that's done changed when they get 2 nickels in their pocket? Or when they get a new car? Y'all ain't talking to me. Or when they get a new home, or when they get new clothes, they just change and change. And you're saying you ain't growing, you just changing. But baby, be careful now. Because the same thing will make you laugh or turn around and make you cry. Y'all ain't talking to me. It ain't no fun with Nod. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. That's what Nod said. You got to understand, when you stick to your vision, it'll help you grow, but it won't change you.
Amen. Amen.
That's why now I still got dope friends I holler at all the time. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Amen.
They respect me and I respect them.
All right.
Come on, teach, Pastor. Teach that.
I ain't never too good now. I had to learn the hard way. I'm telling y'all don't want to learn that way. It don't mean that you lose your intellect.
All right.
It just simply means you just remember, man, I was here one time.
Amen.
And the way I want to get out, and God got me out, somebody else is crying to get out. And if I know the way, I need to go back and help them get their way out.
Amen.
Amen.
No, this ain't no shouting back.
Come on, right.
Come on now.
Here's the last one. I'm
Preach, Pastor.
get out of here. Vision. It's not an experimental. It's about intentional living.
All right.
Vision is not about experimental. It's not nothing you experiment with. It's not something that you try. When you know your vision, when God gives you a vision, it's intentional living. Sisters and brothers, when you have your vision, you're intentional, you live that way. If your dream, young people, is going to college and getting your degree, that's the life you intentionally live.
Amen.
And you don't allow anybody to blindside you
All right.
from reaching those goals.
Amen. Amen.
You stay focused. Sometimes you can't go out. I'm serious, sometimes you cannot go out. Sometimes you gotta tell them, y'all go ahead home, man. I got work I gotta do.
Amen.
Because I promise you, at the end of the day, you'll be partying while they be working.
Amen.
Man told me one time, a mentor, he told me something one time. He said, Rice, he said, son, work hard now and party later.
All right.
That's what you mean.
Yeah.
He said, people get retirement mixed up.
Amen.
Retirement is not the age where you die. Retirement is the age you enjoy.
Amen.
Oh, y'all ain't talking to me.
Amen.
He says, so you work before retirement.
Right.
That when you retire,
No work.
that's when you tell them, I'll holler at you in a few days. I'll be back in a little bit. We going over here. My house is paid for. I don't owe nobody. Y'all ain't talking to me.
Amen.
I'm going to do what I want to do.
Amen.
But the concept is y'all partying now. I'm just saying, I speak to y'all, say the word. Y'all partying now. And then you working when you retire.
Amen.
Amen. Come on, right.
Why ain't y'all talking to me? You can't stay from partying now.
All right.
Every time you go pay $20 for a drink at some club that you paid $10 to get in, then you paid $10 to park, that's $40 right there. You done paid another $60 to get your hair done, that's $100 right there. Then you done paid another $45 to get your hands and your feet done, that's $145 right there. Some people do this every week, and you just think about it. That's almost $1,000 you can put in savings and let it grow.
Amen.
Amen. Preach, Pastor.
I know y'all ain't talking to me.
All right. True.
That's almost $1,000 you can put somewhere else. Every time you go to KFC and spend $20, $30, $40, however many fill-ups you get.
All right.
Some of us declared more than 1 or 2 fill-ups. I want y'all to count it up. Every time you go there and you spend $15, $20, at least 3 or 4 times a week, that's $60 or $70.
Amen.
60 and 70 times 4 is what? That's almost $300 or $400 a month that you can put away somewhere to do something better with as time go on, time progress. You know, I'm going to tell y'all something, then I'm done. This ain't about money, but I got to tell you this because it's about vision. And that's what it is. A lot of times we don't have visions for our money.
Amen.
That's why a lot of times we don't have any money.
Amen. All right.
But if you just learn how, I know I got some folk out there know what I'm talking about.
Amen.
There are some people that have never worked a day in their life.
All right.
They live off of what's called residuals. Every time I try to get people involved, every time you buy a bag of potato chips,
All right.
you put money in their pocket.
Yes.
Because they invest their money. And you may not get but 1 cent for every chip that's sold.
Amen.
But how many people are in the world?
All right now.
Who you know don't eat potato chips sometime or another?
Right. Amen.
You got to start thinking with a vision for your money. So later on, you'll have your money. Instead of trying to find it, you'll already have it.
Amen.
A guru told me, he said, Rice, let me tell you, 2 things you can do with your money. You can either waste it,
Or invest it.
or you can invest it, or he said you can own it.
Amen.
I'm done, man. I ain't got way
All right.
sidetracked. But the problem is we don't own our money. Let me help you. Let me tell you this. I got to give you this and I'm done. You know how I'm going to tell you how you know you don't own your money? Even those of you that have invested in a 401k, you don't own your money. Try to go get it early. Go get it early and see if they don't take what you say that is yours and pay them. That's not owning your money. You still don't own your money.
Yes, man.
Great.
Amen.
Yes,
Off the
sir.
top.
Speak.
I'm done. God bless
All
you.
right.
Keep the vision. Keep the vision.
Amen.
Keep the vision. And where you think it takes a whole lot of money to make a whole lot of money, it don't. It just takes self-discipline.
Amen.
People that are close to me will tell you, man, Joe will ask you in a minute, why are you spending money on that?
Amen.
The first thing you need to learn how to do, and I'm just talking from experience, is learn how to tithe to God.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
I'm not going to argue. Y'all know I don't preach on that. But I will tell you, if you ever really want to see success,
Amen.
tithe to God.
Amen. Amen.
And it's funny because you give a government that don't even like you, he gets his money off the rip.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the one killing them.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
He's the one got the corona, the HIV, the AIDS, and the herpes and all that
Amen.
that we take in. He did that.
Amen.
Amen.
But you give him his money with no complaints.
Right.
And you're afraid of Uncle Sam.
All right.
But you treat God like a joke.
Amen. Amen.
Boy, you better wake up. I don't care what these people telling you. It's a shame to think that when you die, you got somewhere to go, but while you living, you ain't supposed to give to the one that gives you breath in your body.
Amen. Amen.
And you think because, man, I hear people say this, and I'm gone, we're just talking about the vision, but I hear people say this, man, the pastor getting all your money. No, I work every day.
Amen. Amen.
My wife works every day.
Amen.
We put our pennies together. I don't call them pennies. We put our millions together.
Amen.
And we're going to have a successful life.
Amen.
One thing I can tell you this, Pastor Rice ain't never took a dime, stole a dime from high ground.
Amen.
If one thing you know, those of you that are members know the financial book is open. It's an open thing. You can always go look and see what's going on. Nothing will ever be said.
Amen.
Nothing. So if you see me riding new,
All right.
no, that's why I work every day.
Amen.
You want to know why I can't just come run and see see everybody all the time, every day, because right now the church can't afford to pay my insurance and pay the things that I need to be. I'm a 24-hour day pastor, but I don't get the perks that most of these pastors get.
Amen. Amen.
So help me.
Yeah.
And when I say help me, don't get upset if you don't see me.
All right.
Or if I don't call you like you think I should.
Yeah.
Just know, man, my pastor has to work.
Amen. Amen.
He does what he has to do.
Amen.
At the end of the day, if me and my wife outside, y'all might let us stay an hour or two. I know some of y'all getting late, Pastor. Which way y'all headed? Come on, let's get out of here, baby.
Amen. Amen.
So I figure Pastor by the word. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy what I do, I really do. I enjoy what I do. God bless all of you.
Man.
Get up, boy. Sit down, lay all back, walk. God bless all of you for real.
Amen.
Amen.
Y'all learn something about the vision?
Amen.
Y'all learn something about the vision?
Yes.
Hey. We don't do that. I don't get down like that. God bless all of you on this day.
Yeah.
About the vision. How you doing? Princess, how you doing? All right. Bless you. Bless you.